Morning, good evening, or good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, friends, for joining us this evening or today on this very important webinar on this stupendous sun, as DK calls it. So today's presentation will be on Sirius and its importance in the spiritual life of our planet. However, just before we start, let's center ourselves and let's do the little visualization that DK gave us so that we can enter into his consciousness, so that DK can elevate it, so that we can understand more deeply his teachings on this important and stupendous sun. Raise your consciousness as high as you possibly can. Then endeavor then to hold steady, holding the mind unwaveringly in the group light. Realize that on DK's side, he also stands steady, pouring out upon us his love and strength and endeavoring to lift us up into a higher state of consciousness. Visualize ahead of us a disk or a sphere of indigo blue, a deep electric blue. And imagine DK standing in the center of that disk, waiting for our group. Then see a band of golden light between us and the disk, gradually shortening, thus bringing us closer and closer together. Slowly and steadily, until we enter into the heart of the blue disk. And let us sound a blue Om as a united group. Om. So while the topic of today's presentation is focused on Sirius, we need to bear in mind that there are three basic energies coming from the three major conditioning constellations of the Great Bear, from Sirius, and from the Pleiades, which flow into our solar system and which act as one. They control and energize our solar system and pour through our three major planetary centers on Earth: Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity, potently affecting all four kingdoms. And the effect of these three great constellations also cannot be noted by individual man until such time as he becomes conscious of the monadic vibration after the third initiation, we are told. The influence of Sirius is not consciously felt until after the third initiation, when the true nature of the spirit aspect begins to dawn upon the liberated, intuitive perception of the initiate. However, in spite of that, we can still try and endeavor to understand, at least theoretically, all about the effect of Sirius on our planet. The star Sirius is located in the constellation of Canis Major, and according to science, it is very bright, and it is about 25 times more luminous than our sun, and is only a mere 8.6 light years away from Earth. It is the brightest star visible from any part of the world, even though it's located in the southern hemisphere. In the secret doctrine, Sirius was called the dog star. It was the star of Mercury or Buddha, called the great instructor of mankind. It is also commonly known as the dog star because it's the brightest star in the constellation Canis Major, which means big dog in Latin. And the old commentary refers to Sirius as the radiant sun of suns, a bright star where shines the light of love. The name Sirius means searing or scorching in Greek. Sirius is called the scorcher because the power of love burns away all impurities and the limitations of lunar life. And this role of Sirius is related to the thought that our God is a consuming fire, said Michael Robbins. God is love, and God is a consuming fire. This fire, energized by love, has burnt out all personality qualities, leaving only a purified instrument, colored by the soul ray and no longer necessitating the existence of a soul body. Our God is a consuming fire, as the divine, fiery nature of our solar logos emanates from Sirius, that is, the soul of our solar logos. There are three major groups of lives on Sirius, for there are no kingdoms of nature such as we possess down here on Earth. And these groups receive all those who choose the fourth path and train them in the mode of existence and the type of livingness which is found on Sirius. This, therefore, will make it plain to you that the least developed of the Sirian lives are, from our standpoint, all of them initiates of very high degree, states DK. Evil, as we understand it, has absolutely no place on Sirius. If we understand evil as simply being the dominance of matter and the negation of spiritual values, or pure materialism and selfishness, that is on Sirius, these lives have completely superseded in consciousness all consciousness of matter and is totally not affected by the pull of matter. So let's see the importance of Sirius and cosmic love in our local universe. Gemini, we are told, forms a point of entrance for cosmic energy from Sirius, making Gemini one of the most important signs of the zodiac, as Gemini controls esoterically the heart of our solar system and thus controls the pulsation of life which sustains all that is. Gemini is therefore connected with the heart of the sun, the love of the whole. This cosmic energy is the source of Buddhi, of cosmic love, as the Syrian Logos is to our solar Logos what the human ego is to the personality. So that is, Sirius is the soul of our solar Logos. August, which is ruled by Leo, is the month of the dog star, or of Sirius, which thus brings Sirius into very close relation to Leo. And Leo, in the cosmic sense, and apart from our solar system altogether, is ruled by Sirius. The influences of Sirius are focused in Regulus, which is a star of the first magnitude and which is frequently called the heart of the lion. Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation Leo, and is also one of the brightest stars in the night sky. So Leo is ruled by the sun, ray 2, which rules the heart, and the heart transmits the ray of love, wisdom. The sun in Leo rules both the personality and the soul. And we are told that the exceeding bright star, one of the 4 royal stars, is Regulus, the ruler, the lawgiver, holding in its significance the thought that man can now be a law unto himself, for he has that within him which is the king or the ruler. And the word Regulus comes from the Latin rex, meaning king or ruler. At first, the coordinated self-assertive, totalitarian, and powerful, roaring lion, which creates havoc and sows fear in those around him, is the dominant personality. But in time, the king of beasts is crucified and defeated by the real beneficent king within, that is, the loving soul. So cosmic love flows from Sirius to Leo, the heart of the lion, and to our solar system. And our sun is the triple ruler of Leo. It rules both exoterically, that is the personality, or esoterically, that is the soul, as well as hierarchically, that is on a monadic level, on the spirit level. Our sun is the embodiment of the heart, or the love aspect of the Logos, who is himself the heart of the one about whom naught may be said. And the evolution of the sun, or the cosmic incarnation of the Christ, the soul, is of immense importance in the plans of the being, greater than the solar Logos, that is, he about whom naught may be said, that is the cosmic Logos. The animating principles of allied constellations and systems watch the progress of the evolution of the sun, or the second aspect, that is the soul, with keenest attention. And throughout the universe, it is the soul which is the conscious, sensitive theme of the divine plan. The soul as the anima mundi, or the soul of the world. The soul as the animal soul. The soul as the human soul. Plus awareness, whether it's conscious or unconscious, of the immortal or divine soul. The soul as the ego, or the spiritual soul on its own plane, and is the goal of all present evolutionary processes. So I'm going to repeat that statement because it's one of the most important statements. Throughout the universe, it is the soul which is the conscious, sensitive theme of the divine plan. Not only of our Logos, but also the solar Logos and of the cosmic Logos in our local universe. A very important statement that DK is making here. Now let's explore the connection between Sirius and our planet Earth. It might be considered, DK tells us, by those with a sound sense of occult proportion, that our tiny planet with its planetary Logos, one of the imperfect gods of the secret doctrine, would be too small to enter in the slightest way into the consciousness of that supreme illumined entity who is greater even than our solar logos. Such, however, is the case. There is a relationship of very ancient date between our Lord of the world, Sanat Kumara, and the Lord of Sirius. And this exists in spite of the fact that our planet is not a sacred planet. And it might be added that our planet is in the immediate cycle rapidly passing out of this category, that is, being non-sacred. And on the inner planes and subjectively considered a sacred planet. But the effects of this transition from non-sacred to sacred have not fully demonstrated themselves objectively, that is, in the phenomenal world, in the tangible world. And the mystery of this relationship is partially revealed at one of the higher initiations. And the recipients of this impression, that is from Sirius, from members of the Great White Lodge on Sirius, are the highest members of the Great Council, presided over by the Lords of the world. So subtle is this impression that these great lives can only receive it with accuracy when in full joint conference of the entire council, and also after due preparation. That's how subtle the impression of Sirius, even on Shambhala's, on members in Shambhala. Or hierarchy. But a stream of energy coming from the sun Sirius enters directly into our hierarchy and carries with it the principle of Buddhi, of cosmic love. And this is, in a mysterious way, is the principle found at the heart of every atom. And this is also another important statement, that the principle of Buddhi is the principle found at the heart of every atom. Let that teaching just sink into a mind for a brief moment. That is the core of every atom, is cosmic love. The energy evoked in response to this relationship enters the hierarchy via the heart of the sun, creating as a consequence a triangle of spiritual energy of enormous potency. So we have therefore Sirius, the heart of the sun, then hierarchy, the heart center of our planetary logos. Now let's explore the relationship between Sirius and Manas. The etymology of Manas is that it's derived from the Sanskrit root man or man, which means to think, to cogitate, to reflect. And the noun man is connected to the root word men, meaning to think, which would make the ground sense of men, that is, one who has intelligence. So therefore, in the Ageless Wisdom teachings, we need to interpret and respect DK's use of the word men or men, plural, depending on the context, which is generally referred in its original meaning as a thinking entity and not to its secondary meaning as the male gender that the word men has taken. Manas might finally be defined as the intelligent will and ordered purpose of every self-conscious entity. Manas is the intelligent will and ordered purpose of every self-conscious entity. Manas has been defined as mind, or that faculty of logical deduction and reasoning, and of rational activity that distinguishes man from the animals. Yet it is something much more than that, for it underlies all manifestation and the very shape of an amoeba and the discriminative faculty of the lowest atom or cell is actuated by mind of some kind or another. And it is the fire of divine impulse permeating all forms and driving those forms to certain actions and achievement. Manas is really will working itself out on the physical plane. Just a quick reminder, in the first solar system, the center, which is humanity, was prepared, and the principle of intelligence came into manifestation. So in that first solar system, intelligence was unfolded and was retained within substance in order to form the basis of the evolutionary of the second solar system. So the origin of Manas is the active will intelligently applied of an entity. And then that this active, intelligent will affects all lesser lives in cyclic evolution within the body of that particularly actively willing existence. Now, this is true of all beings from the Logos downwards. So it's the origin of Manas is the active will of an entity. So we can see then the relation between will and mind here very clearly. Manas, as we already know, is the fifth principle. And this fifth principle embodies the basic vibration of the fifth plane, either cosmically, the cosmic fifth plane, or the systemic fifth plane, that is our mental plane. And the sun, Sirius, is the source of logoic manas, that is from the solar logos here. Because the system of the Sirian logos is on the cosmic mental plane, way up there. The Sirius logos is to our solar logos what the human ego is to the personality, that is, the soul is to the personality. However, in another quote, DK says that this great sun, Sirius, is to our solar logos what the monad is to the spiritual man. So here he equates the monad of Sirius and the soul being one and the same, or both act as one. So the sun, Sirius, is the source of manas for the solar logos in our solar system. But the energy of thought or mind force in its totality reaches our solar system from a distant cosmic center via Sirius. So now we're going even beyond Sirius, from a distant cosmic center, flowing through Sirius, then to our solar system. So Sirius then acts as the transmitter or the focalizing center whence emanate those influences which produce self-consciousness in man. And the originating source of manasic activity in a solar system is that great cosmic entity who embodies our solar logos as a center in his body, along with 6 other solar logoi, who are in their totality his 7 centers. So what DK is saying here basically is that the source is the cosmic logos. Eventually, that distant cosmic center is the cosmic logos, the one whom naught may be said. And our logos is his heart center. And in our solar system, the originating source of manasic activity in any planetary scheme in our solar system is the solar logos. He is the active, directing intelligence who is working with definite purpose through his 7 centers. And now within our solar system, the sun Sirius influences our entire system psychically via 3 synthesizing schemes: Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. And Saturn being the focal point for the transmission of cosmic manas to the entire 7 schemes, that is from Mercury all the way to Neptune. So this is within our solar system itself, that Saturn is the emanating or the transmitter of manas in our solar system. But within our planet, the originating source of the manasic principle is any planetary system is a planetary logos. And in our case, our planetary logos works through his 7 chains, as does the logos through his 7 planetary centers. Let's summarize for a brief moment here. So, Leo, in the cosmic sense, is ruled by Sirius, and the sun Sirius is the source of logoic manas. And we know that manas is the 5th ruling, is the 5th principle ruling the 5th mental plane. And the influences of Sirius, that are 3 in number, are focused in Regulus, in the constellation Leo, which transmits ray 5, just like Sirius transmits ray 5. And Michael Robbins adds that these 3 influences correspond to will, love, and intelligence, and they are also focused through the planets Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. Now we're going to digress for just a very brief moment, because 2025 is such an important year. Let's see what's going on in the heavens at the moment, which will reflect that statement that DK made about the 3 influences through the planets Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn from Sirius, and therefore through Leo as well. So let's have a brief look at that. In 2025, we see the powerful significance of the energy of these planetary bodies pouring on Earth. 1, Uranus in Gemini. 2, the conjunction of Neptune in Aries conjuncting Saturn in Aries. So let's see these, the significance of these planets. So the will to good from Sirius, focused in Regulus, the heart of the lion, flows through Uranus. Now we know from esoteric astrology, DK gave us 3 streams of energy. Cosmic consciousness, cosmic love from Sirius flows through Pisces and through Uranus. But here we also see that from Sirius, cosmic love flows through Leo and reaching Uranus in our planet. Now, Uranus is the transmitter of cosmic love, as we've just seen, to the heart of our logos in hierarchy, and then in the heart of the disciples. And it flows through Gemini which is the gateway, as we've seen earlier on, for Sirian cosmic love into our solar system. So we see Uranus, ray 7, which is a lower aspect of ray 1, and Gemini, ray 2, combined. So we can say that divine will is expressed through love via Uranus in Gemini. And now let's explore the conjunction. We see the conjunction of Neptune. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, love, the second aspect. And we just saw that love flows from Sirius through Pisces. And Saturn, the conjunction of these two planets. Saturn is the ruler of the fifth mental plane of intelligence, the third aspect, is also in Aries, as they both conjunct in Aries. Will. So how do we interpret this? So we can say love from Neptune, using the vehicle of the third aspect, Saturn, to express divine will, Aries, or materialized, manifesting love, revealing divine will. So these are the energies that are flowing into our, onto our planet from the heavens. Gives us a lot of hope, doesn't it? That the will of the Logos now is being expressed through love and being materialized on Earth through these planets. So what is then the mind aspect, and why is it so important? So the mind aspect is in reality the ability or the capacity of the logoic existence to think, to act, to build, and to evolve. In order to develop the faculty of active love. So the mind aspect then becomes the vehicle for love. Now let's explore Sirius and this very, very important law of freedom that it exerts. This unique and mysterious law governs the life and the lives upon Sirius. And this divine principle represents an aspect of the influence which Sirius exerts on our solar system, but peculiarly or particularly on our planet. Now, we've seen earlier on that there is a very close relationship between our Logos and the Sirian Logos. So that's why he exerts a particular influence on our planet Earth. So what is this law? So this law of freedom, which is the law on Sirius, is the law of which the three cosmic laws, the laws of synthesis, the law of attraction, and the law of economy, are only aspects. None of these three subsidiary laws imposes any rule or limitation upon the Lord of the world. But the law of freedom does. It does impose certain limitations or restrictions upon our Lord of the world. So how do we define this mysterious law of freedom? Dike explains to us that it's a leavening energy which can permeate substance in a unique manner. This principle of freedom is one of the attributes of deity, like will or love or mind, but which enables the life or the spirit aspect to free itself or to detach itself from the impact, the contact, and the influence of substance or of matter. Dike calls it a pulling away from form. That's because when the heart radiates out, right, it exerts a certain detachment. It radiates divine indifference. That is, it's no longer affected by matter or substance. It is the principle of freedom which enables Sanat Kumara to dwell on the earth, and yet he stands free from all contacts. Therefore, he doesn't identify with the form. He stands away from it, as if he looks at it from above, and is not affected by matter. The Lord of the world is not identified with the matter, the Maya, which he has created, and which has its purpose in eventually bringing about the release of the prisoners of the planet. That is, all the souls that are enveloped in matter, imprisoned by matter. To that Maya, he is supremely indifferent. And it is this divine indifference which has led to the great theological illusion of an anthropomorphic deity, or to the belief in the East that our planet is but the background or the plaything of the gods. But far, far from it. The law of freedom is responsible for our Logos, for him being known as the great sacrifice. For under the control of this law, he created our planetary life and all that is within and upon it, in order to learn to will this law with full understanding, in full consciousness, and yet at the same time to bring release to the myriad forms of his creation. That is for salvation, for the redemption of matter, where the soul then becomes, or the spirit aspect, or Buddhi or cosmic love within, to be liberated from the prison of the third aspect of matter. Let's recall that our solar logos and our planetary logos are polarized in their astral body. And they are polarized on the cosmic astral plane. And the effect of their life energy as it flows through the systemic heart can be seen in the activity of the astral plane. Here we have the control of our planetary logos of the cosmic astral plane. So here A, on the fourth subplane, he, our planetary logos, is perfecting the control of the fourth subplane on the cosmic astral plane. And he has nearly completed it. He is beginning to work at the control of the fifth subplane, which is fifth going upwards from below to the first plane. So he is beginning to work at the control of that third subplane here, a control with which he will be perfected in the fifth round. We are in the fourth round now. So in the next round, he will have perfected this third subplane. He's sensing and starting to respond to the vibration of the sixth subplane or the second subplane, but is not as yet fully conscious of that subplane on the cosmic astral plane. We don't know about the control of the astral plane of our solar logos, but we do know that he is also focused or polarized there. But this is where our planetary logos is at the moment. But he is working towards perfection. So what is this divine indifference or dispassion that our logos is learning in this incarnation, that is, when he inhabits this planet Earth? It is the achieving of a neutral attitude towards that which is regarded as the not self. So therefore, all disciples need to acquire that divine indifference which leaves the soul free to serve, untrammeled by personality reactions, for that is what all solar plexus conditions basically are. So as above, so below. In actual fact, being a cell in the body of our planetary logos is also the goal of all humanity eventually, and tread the fourth path to Sirius. As we are told that the majority of liberated humanity, and therefore a large number of the initiates who have to make decision, that is the 6th degree initiates here, choose the fourth path to Sirius, to this great radiant sun, Sirius. So what Dike is basically saying here is that the majority of humanity, to the majority of humanity, Sirius is our home. That's basically what he's saying. And to be there, to get there, to be liberated, we need to acquire divine indifference or dispassion or that neutral attitude. Now, esoteric healing law 9, which is the law of perfection, states this very clearly. That's the law, the 9th law of esoteric healing. It states that perfection calls imperfection to the surface. Good drives evil from the form of man in time and space. The method used by the perfect one, which is the Christ, and who is a Syrian initiate, and that employed by good, who is the planetary Logos, which is being referred to here, is perfect harmlessness. Now, this is not negativity, but perfect poise, a completed point of view, and divine understanding. Now, not only does our Logos uses it, but hierarchy as well employs harmlessness based on complete self-sacrifice, wherein the will to sacrifice, the will to good, and the will to power, the 3 phases of the will aspect, as expressed through the spiritual triad, are fused into one dynamic energy of a deep spiritual nature. So this quality of non-identification with a form, divine indifference, or detachment, or freedom from matter is absolutely crucial. Now, DK tells us it's not the harmlessness enjoined so often by me as I speak to aspirants, but a harmlessness imposed by the spiritual man and by his natural destiny. That is, it is an ignoring of the effect or the result upon the form nature. Harmlessness is the outstanding quality of every son of man, a crucial quality that we have to acquire if we need to reach our goal of returning home. Let's briefly analyze these 3 qualities of perfect poise, completed point of view, and divine understanding from the point of view of the higher initiate and for the disciple, so that we can achieve freedom from the lure of matter. So for the higher initiate, perfect poise refers to this ability to function freely on the Buddhic planes, owing to the complete liberation from all influences and impulses coming from the 3 worlds. That is, it's referring to the adaptability to the rhythm of the spiritual triad. Then, the completed point of view refers to the universal outlook of the monad, and that refers to detachment and discrimination when expressed on the way of the higher evolution that becomes abstraction or the will to good. And divine understanding is the identification which supersedes the individualistic consciousness. All barriers have gone, and the initiate sees things as they are. He knows the causes of which all phenomena are the ephemeral effects, consequently enabling him to understand the purpose as it emanates from Shambhala. Now let's see these three qualities from the point of view of the disciple on the lower rung of the ladder. Perfect poise means the complete control of the astral body, so that emotional upheavals are overcome, or at least greatly minimized. It refers to the effects or the non-effects of the three lower worlds, brought about by the practice of divine indifference and the astral pulse died of attrition. That's what perfect poise is. Nothing phases than the disciple. Complete point of view. This refers to the function of the soul as the observer in the three lower worlds. It is brought about by the development of detachment and discrimination, as the soul of the disciple then stands as the observer behind the events. And divine understanding indicates a mind which can be held steady in the light and can therefore reflect the pure reason or pure love which qualifies the reflections of the soul on its own plane. So the disciple understands the plan as formulated by hierarchy. So the advice to all from DK, it will therefore be apparent how these three divine requirements, when stepped down for the use of the disciple in the modern world, indicates a line of training or self-discipline to which all should apply themselves. And DK gave this mantra to one of his disciples, CDP, to be able to achieve that divine indifference. At the center of all love, I stand. Naught can touch me here. From that center, I shall go forth to love and serve with self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and non-criticism. A very important visualization and mantra that one can say to be able to achieve this divine indifference. Very helpful. And the most potent force in the world today is harmlessness. So let's reiterate very briefly, because that law of freedom is so important. Our planetary logos is under the control of the law of freedom, a unique and mysterious law which governs the life and the lives upon Sirius. And that enables the life or the spirit aspect to free itself from the impact, the contact, and the influence of matter or substance. So it's this freedom, this principle of freedom, which enables Sanat Kumara to dwell on earth and yet stand free from all contacts. He, meaning our planetary logos, may learn the meaning of systemic dispassion, be dissociated from all forms and material substance, and upon the cross of matter eventually find liberation and the freedom of the spirit. And harmlessness is therefore the key to the release of the lower nature from the grip of the world illusion and from the power of phenomenal existence. Hence, now we understand the statement made about Sirius, that evil, as we understand it, that is, being the dominance of matter and the negation of spiritual values, has no place on Sirius, because these lives are completely liberated from the pull of matter. Now, very importantly, regarding the law of freedom, let's explore the relation between Sirius and Uranus. Now, as we saw earlier on from the table that DK gave us in esoteric astrology, love, wisdom, that stream of love and wisdom flows from Sirius to Uranus. And you know that Uranus is the planet that embodies the principle of freedom. Now we understand where Uranus, where it originates from Sirius itself. The seventh ray works through Uranus, which is today the transmitter of Sirian force via Pisces to hierarchy, as we've just seen in the previous slide. And Uranus is the embodiment of the principle of concretion and the materializing of that which is which is in need of objective manifestation through the bringing together of spirit and matter. That's what the seventh ray does. It synthesizes the outer and the inner plane, and it concretizes the inner plane and makes it tangible, makes it objective. So what does Uranus, as the transmitter of ray 7 and cosmic Sirian force, what does he materialize? It is the energy of the soul, the second aspect of divinity from Sirius. And DK tells us here that the combination of the influences of Sirius, Leo, and Uranus have been much needed at this time to foster and bring about those conditions which will enable mankind under the steady influence of hierarchy to take the first initiation and to give birth to the Christ, thus revealing and bringing to the light of day the inner, the hidden spiritual man. And this is what our humanity has been going through throughout this whole century. Thousands and thousands of people are undergoing the first initiation. Humanity as a whole, as the world disciple, is going through this first initiation, which is the awakening of the heart center. Both Aquarian rulers, Uranus ray 7, and Jupiter ray 2. The heart center, Jupiter, the heart center of the solar logos, are instrumental in bringing the law of freedom into prominence. So the emphasis in the Aquarian age will be on life and freedom from the tomb of matter. Humanity is struggling to express the higher and better qualities and to free itself from the thraldom of ancient evil, the slavery of ancient codes, and the curse of ancient habits of thoughts and living. And Dike tells us, reassures us that human consciousness is rapidly awakening from its long sleep. So there is a lot of hope for humanity yet, in spite of what we hear all around us. And now let's explore Sirius and the law of karma. There is an intermediate law, which is the synthetic law of the system of Sirius. And this law is the law of karma, and really predicates the effect the Sirian system has on our solar system. So from Sirius, the law of karma is dished out to us, to the whole of the solar system, and us as well. So we have this great law of Sirius, the law of karma, on the third subplane of the cosmic mental plane, which law really controls our logos and his actions in the same way as the ego or the soul, in due course of evolution, controls the human personality. The lords of karma on our system are under the rule of a greater lord of karma on Sirius. So we are governed by the Sirian law of karma. Our planetary logos, and we in the body of him in whom we live and move and have our being, are also under the Sirian law of karma. So we have practically no effect on our parent system, that is, on the Sirian system. The reflex action is so slight as to be negligible, but very definite effects are felt in our system through causes arising in Sirius. And these causes, when experienced as effects, are called by us the law of karma. The Lipika lords of our system, the systemic lords of karma, are under the rule of a greater corresponding lord on Sirius. And the lords of karma, or the Maharajas, work with the sons of men in the three lower worlds and through manasic principle. Saturn is one of the most potent of the four lords of karma and forces men to face up to the past and in the present to prepare for the future. Such is the intention and purpose of karmic opportunity. The Lord of the world decided to create this planet of ours for strictly redemptive purposes. So Sanat Kumara is a divine prisoner of this planet, held here until the last weary pilgrim has found his way home. This is his heavy karma, making him the prototype of all world saviors. And these lords of karma from Sirius work on our systemic astral plane through a group of devas who are the sum total of the astral light. They are the agents of the karmic lords who are in themselves deva entities of inconceivably advanced evolution, and who in their own substance record, produce effects from cause and direct force. So Sirius, Manas, and the cosmic astral plane and the systemic astral plane make a very close interlocking chain. And how about Sirius, hierarchy, and our planetary life? We brought up two important points earlier on. First, that Sirius has a very close relationship with our planetary logos. So therefore, Sirius is a very important factor in the spiritual life of the planet. And secondly, a stream of energy coming from this sun Sirius enters directly into hierarchy, that is, into the heart of the Logos himself, and carries with it the principle of Buddhi, of cosmic love. So as energy from Sirius does not normally enter our planetary life via Shambhala, not through the heart, the head center of our Logos, but flows through the heart center, because it's that second stream, as we saw earlier on, second stream of cosmic love. And the entire work of the Great White Lodge is controlled from Sirius. And the energies coming from the sun Sirius are related to the love wisdom aspect, or to the attractive power of the solar logos to the soul of that great being. And this cosmic soul energy is related to hierarchy. That is cosmic love emanating from the great sun Sirius, the soul of our solar logos, flows through the logoic 12-petaled heart, the heart center of the cosmic logos, the one whom naught may be said, and through the planetary 12-petaled heart of our planetary logos, hierarchy. To our solar angels on the higher subplane of the mental plane. And we are told that these solar angels are linked to the heart of the solar logos through their symbol of 12-petaled lotus, which reveal their true characteristic, that is, they are transmitters of cosmic love. These great redeeming angels, the units of the fifth hierarchy, are called the hearts of fiery love. They save through love, and in their turn, these lives are peculiarly close to the great heart of love of the solar logos, because that's where they come from. Our solar angels come from Sirius. So this sign Leo is a fire sign, and it's the preeminent fire sign at this time. And the sons of men, of mind rather, the self-conscious sons of God are above everything else, the sons of fire. For our God is a consuming fire, as we saw earlier on. There is in them that peculiar quality which can burn and destroy and so eradicate all that hinders their essentially divine expression. The Agnishvatas, the self-conscious principle, the builders, the constructors of the egoic body on the higher mental plane, that is our solar angels, themselves originate from the logoic middle principle, that is, from the soul of our solar logos. That's how advanced our solar angels are. And since we know that cosmic love flows from the cosmic sun of suns, Sirius, into our solar system, and during Pralaya, they, our solar angels, the Agnishvatas, are withdrawn, as everything else, from manifestation and return to a cosmic center. We can safely speculate that this cosmic center is Sirius. So that is after we have passed away, rather after the fourth initiation, when the egoic lotus is no longer needed, the solar angels have done their job, they return back to their source, and that source is Sirius. The entire work of the Great White Lodge is controlled from Sirius. The ashrams are subjected to its cyclic inflow. The higher initiations are taken under its stimulation. For the principle of buddhi, of pure love, that is love wisdom, must be active in the heart of every initiate prior to the initiation of the great decision, that is the sixth initiation. So it is therefore only initiates of the fifth, sixth, and the higher initiations who can work consciously with a potent Buddhic livingness, which permeates all ashrams, though unrecognized by the average disciple. And the energy of Sirius is focused in the hierarchy. As we saw earlier on, its effect is not felt until after the third initiation. Though the masters at hierarchy use this energy whilst training disciples for the second, the fourth, and the sixth initiations. So we can see how important that energy of Sirius is to hierarchy. And Sirius is the home of that greater lodge to which our fifth initiation admits a man, and to which it brings him as a humble disciple. So Master DK is a fifth degree master, but on Sirius, he would be a very humble disciple, just like we are here on earth. Just to give you that perspective. The sun Sirius is closely related to our planetary life. Now, much is known in the hierarchy regarding this connection, but the Sirian influence was not recognized, and little of it was definitely focused in hierarchy until Christ came and revealed the love of God to humanity, because Christ is a Sirian initiate. The Christ is the expression of a Sirian initiation, and it's to that high place he will eventually go, no matter what duties and hierarchical obligations may take him elsewhere between that time and now. So our home, as well as the Christ eventual home, is Sirius. The majority of liberated humanity, and therefore a large number of the initiates who have to make decision, that is the sixth initiation, choose this way to Sirius. And to become a candidate in that lodge, the initiate of the third degree has to become a lowly aspirant with all the true and full initiations awaiting him within the sunshine of the major sun. What a great name for that stupendous sun. The sunshine of the major sun. So as we saw earlier, Sirius is the great star of initiation, because our hierarchy, an expression of the second aspect of divinity, is under the supervision or the spiritual magnetic control of the hierarchy of Sirius. It is first of all the entering into a new and wider dimension by the expansion of a man's consciousness. That's what initiation is all about. It's the entering into a new and wider world as our mind, our consciousness expands, so that he can include and encompass that which he now excludes, and from which he normally separates himself in his thinking and acts. So initiation doesn't separate. On the contrary, it includes, it brings within its consciousness wider contacts. It is secondly the entering of man of those energies which are distinctive of the soul and of the soul alone, the forces of intelligent love and of spiritual will. So it's really entering. Initiation is the start of our path into the soul realm. And the heart center is the organ for distribution of hierarchical energy, poured out via the soul into the heart center of all aspirants, disciples, and initiates. And as the Bible says, the love of God is shed abroad in the human heart and its transforming magnetic and radiatory power is essential for the reconstruction of the world and for the establishment of the new world order. And it is that center, that is, it's the heart center, therefore, in the physical body through which the hierarchy works. It is the agent of the soul. Now, DK wants to discriminate. He says, when I hear use the word soul, I refer not only to the individual soul of man, but to the soul also of the planetary logos, both of which are the results of the union of spirit and matter, of the father aspect and the mother aspect. So the heart center registers the energy of love. And when the Antikorana has finally been constructed, the heart center then becomes the agent for spiritual love, buddhi, for the initiate. Then hierarchy and the solar angels, the hearts of fiery love as they are called, would have accomplished their work, expanded Syrian love, the principle of buddhi, the principle found at the heart of every atom, and transmuted each cell in his body in a sphere of radiant glory, a blaze of fire and light, and the source of magnetic radiation. Then the sun in the heavens shine forth. The divine plan will thus be restored on earth. Then the next solar system, the third solar system, will start with a threefold spirit manifesting through substance which is essentially distinguished by active, intelligent love. Scorpio is under the influence or the inflowing energy of Sirius. This is the great star of initiation, Sirius. Esoterically called the brilliant star of sensitivity. Sirius, the star of sensitivity, governing hierarchy. And Scorpio is that great constellation which influences the turning point both in life of humanity and the life of the individual human being. And for the very first time in the history of both mankind and disciples, the energy of Sirius pouring into the 7 groups which form our planetary hierarchy evokes a response. And throughout the universe, it's the soul which is the conscious, sensitive theme of the divine plan. The soul as the animal soul, the soul as the human soul, and the soul as the ego or spiritual soul on its own plane. Absolutely crucial statement, friends, that we have to remember. So behind that sensitive theme of the unfolding of the soul in the divine plan in the second solar system stand Sirius. That's the emanating cause. And as we've seen in the slides earlier on, there are 3 streams of energy flowing into our system. The cosmic triangle, made up of the Great Bear, Sirius, and the Pleiades, pour three streams of energy into the zodiacal triangle, Leo, Pisces, Capricorn, and the systemic triangle, the three planets in our solar system, Saturn, Uranus, and Mercury, vitalizing the planetary triangle, Shambhala, the planetary head center, hierarchy, the planetary heart center, and humanity, the planetary ajna center. And then through the initiates and disciples and aspirants, and through humanity as a whole, the macrocosm of the lower kingdoms, therefore potently affecting every kingdom in nature. Again, let's reiterate the combination of the influences of Sirius, Leo via Regulus, and Uranus has been much needed at this time to foster and to bring about those conditions which will enable, under the steady influence of hierarchy, through which the stream of love flows from Sirius, to take the first initiation and to give birth to the Christ, thus revealing and bringing to the light of day the inner hidden spiritual man. It is in Leo, we are told, that man undergoes the preparatory stages of this first initiation. He finds himself and becomes self-conscious. Then he arrives at the stage of intelligent discipleship. And finally, he stands ready for the ordeal and the accolade of fire preceding the first initiation. And that's where we stand today, at that final stage. When, as is now is the case, the influence of Uranus is added to the other influences, the seventh ray at the same time entering into a major cycle of activity on Earth, there is then present the energy needed to precipitate the crisis of initiation and produce, therefore, a great rhythmic awakening. So this is what is going on at the moment. I mean, starting from the 1900s, a great path towards initiation. It's painful. No wonder it's called the birth. And later, we are told, when the new world religion is founded and is working, we shall find that the major monthly festival in August, held at the time of the full moon, will be dedicated to the task of making contact via hierarchy with Syrian force. A bright sun where shines the light, Sirius, the light of love. The energies coming from the sun Sirius are related to the love wisdom aspect and to the attractive power of the solar logos, to the soul of that great being. So this cosmic soul energy is related to hierarchy. And lastly, let's see the connection between Sirius, Buddhi, and healing, because that's what affects us as a healing group. So we've mentioned earlier on that a stream of energy from Sirius enters into hierarchy and carries with it the principle of Buddhi, of cosmic love, and that is found at the heart of every atom. So radiatory healing is soul healing. That is the highest form of healing, where pure soul energy is poured into the vehicles of the patient. It was in this way that Christ, a Syrian initiate, the embodiment of the cosmic ray of love and wisdom, worked. And this is the objective that we, the esoteric healing faculty, we have to keep in mind, very firmly in mind. This force, love, when rightly directed and properly controlled, is the great transmuting agency. And in healing, a loving heart is one of the most potent of all the energies employed. He, meaning the disciple, will then become a channel for the light of the soul or the ego, and for the illumination of Buddhi to pour through the saving of the race, for the saving of the race and the lighting of those who stumble in dark places. He must demonstrate the laws of radioactivity in his own life on the physical plane. His life must begin to radiate and therefore to have a magnetic effect upon others. By this, decay means he will begin to influence that which is imprisoned in others, for he will reach through his own powerful vibrations the hidden center in each one, and that spiritual radiation that is only responded to and realized by those who themselves are becoming aware of the spiritual center within the heart. And at this stage, the man is recognized as one who can speak occultly, heart to heart. He becomes a stimulator of the heart center in his body, in his brother, and one who arouses men into activity for others. So that's basically what we are doing as healers. We endeavor to be the distributing agents of the Syrian and hierarchical energy of love shed abroad in the human heart for the reconstruction of the world and for the establishment of the new world order and for the manifestation of a definitely more spiritual civilization. This is a video of the actual star, Sirius, taken with super sensitive cameras with no filters or Photoshop to the sound of a sung mantra, and that was shared by Dwayne Carpenter to our healing Spanish group.
Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya dhimai Dhiyo yona prachodayat Om Bhurvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya
How beautiful is
dhimai
that?
Dhiyo yona prachodayat Om Bhurvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya dhimai Dhiyo yona prachodayat
How colorful too is that? So then, friends, let's conclude by distributing the Syrian energy of love as a group, by visualizing the flow of unconditional love or the will to good emanating from the triangle Sirius, Leo, and our solar logos. Let's superimpose this emanating triangle on the triangle of the avatar of synthesis, the spirit of peace, and the Lord Buddha, powering the Christ, the head of hierarchy, the Syrian initiate, right at the center. And let's superimpose then that radiating triangle on another soul triangle made up of the Christ, Master DK, and our soul group. Then superimpose all these blended triangles on our group chakric triangle as we vitalize it with fiery love, made up of our group crown chakra, our group ajna, and our group alta major. And then directing the dispelling radiance via our group ajna, right eye, left eye triangle. Let's place the blended triangle, impressing it over the three planetary centers triangle, London, Geneva, and New York. And now let us sound an om, carrying the Syrian fiery love as we direct it via the three planetary centers to the heart of humanity. us say deliberately, with joyful confidence, may the love of the one soul focused in this group radiate upon you, our fellow man, and permeate every part of your body, healing, soothing, strengthening, and dissipating all that hinders service and good health. And let's conclude with a great invocation said by Michael.
Let's work with the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Thank you, Michael. Now let's raise our clasped hands above the head and say, and so let it be. And help us to do our part. Then bring them down to your forehead and then let them rest gently on your heart. And may the Syrian fiery love radiate out powerfully and silently to your immediate environment and to your community for the rest of the day. Thank you, friends, for being with us tonight, today.